Hey, how are you?
I'm good. I am good. How are you today? All right.
Hey, I'm here. I'm gonna give you that thumbs up, Laurie. We're
Okay,
all
tell
set.
me what you have.
Hello, Laurie. You can hear me?
Yes, sir. I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Oh, I can hear you. I can hear you. This is Brandon, by the way.
Hi, how are you? I figure as much, Mr. Govcon, EDU.
Yeah. Well, no, he said we can go ahead and get started. He's having some connection issues, but we can get started.
Okay, all right. Well, hello, veterans. I know you're out there. Let me see you. Let me see you. Let me see you. First of all, let's really celebrate Eric Coffee. If you have any way of responding with emojis in any kind of way, the GovCon Giants are once again doing it again for us that are interested in doing GovCon work. So kudos to GovCon Giants and everything that they do to make sure that we are not only doing what we do, but that we're also trained up in what we're doing. So thank you so much. All right, so I got to do the shout outs. All the Army people, let me hear you. Let me see you. Do your little thing. Navy, Air Force, Marines, Semper Fi, Hoorah, Leathernecks, all that. Matter of fact, Coast Guards, any Space Force, if they're not in here with us now, they are on their way because you know that do exist. So thank you again, Eric, for having me to do what I do and love to do most, and that's, share this journey, this experience with other veterans to let them know that if I can do it, they can do it kind of mindset. So let me just talk about me a little bit. I am Laurie Sayles. I am President and CEO of Civility Management Solutions. I'm not only a veteran, but I'm a serial entrepreneur. I'm an author. I'm a change agent. I got my hands on a lot of things. I'm an investor. I'm silver and gold. Y'all catch that. Silver and gold. Get both. Either way, I wear many hats, but it is me being a veteran that has allowed me to continue to increase in my life, to continue to go after more, to continue to try different things, because my journey was different than many of you all. I don't look my age, but I got out in 1989. So I've been out for a while, long before there was a tax or anything like that. You just got out of uniform and you just went at it. That was it. That was all. And you had to try to find a job and make your way. And I started as a receptionist. Then I became a secretary. Then I became an admin assistant. Then I got to the executive assistant level. That's where I started to make a little change. I can go buy a house, a VA loan. But I've always had supplemental income. And so always looking for other ways to make money because they never paid me enough. But that was my journey in corporate America. And then finally, I got offered the opportunity to come and work in GovCon space, not even knowing that civilians worked in with the federal folks. I thought everybody that worked in the federal space was federal employees. I'm like, oh my goodness, this has been here all the time. So now I'm working for, at that time, a Black-owned service disabled veteran that was Army. And I got my clearance through working with that company. But at the same time, I'm like, is this what he doing? Because I'm a hustler, I'm an entrepreneur, I've always been. So now I'm getting some understanding about this GovCon space. And I'm like, and amazingly left that contract and got pulled into another contract. Didn't apply for any of these two jobs. They were just people that knew me and said, Laura, there's an opportunity. I think that would be a good match for you. And it was on that second assignment that I got opened up to the opportunity to be in corporate America. And once I got into corporate America, I'm sorry, the corporate America office, not working on site in the GovCon space inside the buildings, but actually being in the corporate office. That's when I began to really lean in and go, I can do this. I can do this business. And off I went to get my training, right? As you all know, that one thing that we should be well versed with by being someone that served is getting our training, because we are the best in the world because we are well trained, no matter what branch, what entity you belong to, right? Because in the Marine Corps, though, we got some things that we operate a little differently, right? For example, you must be at 110%. That's normal. That's expected of you. So as a woman that happened to be Black, what level you think I had to operate at? Like more like 130, 140, depending on what was going on. But bottom line is I was determined to be a part of the team. And so with doing that, I just always had to raise the bar and challenge myself to be able to line up with my fellow Marines on the left and the right and the front and the back and be accepted and knowing that I had their back just as much as I knew that they had mine. But I was tested, especially in the 1980s, because it wasn't many of me then, still isn't many of me now today that actually exists. So nonetheless, my military occupational specialty was in the office of S4, which was logistics. And amazingly today, I promise you, I did not purposely look out for logistics contracts. But we have them, and I'm not talking about trucks. I'm talking about conference logistics. I'm talking about military logistics. We also got some personnel logistics with a contract we won, which is one of our largest awards. But logistics, nonetheless, is at the forefront of a lot of what Civility Management Solutions does today. So it's interesting how we've come full circle. But being in the Marine Corps and any branch that any of you all have served in, you do understand the importance of training. So I've definitely got myself attached to people like Govcon giants, entities like PTAC, which is now called Apex. Make sure you're registered and hang out with those people. Go spend time, sit in under the trainings, because some of your potential teaming partners are right there in the room. That's the wonderful joy about it. When you get around these folks and study up GovCon, you also are involving yourself with people or revolving yourself around people that are like-minded, that are also interested in GovCon. Because Apex is not talking about how to open a franchise or how to have a barbershop. They're talking about what it is to work in the GovCon space. And this was part of my training. And I did SBA Score Mentor. And my SBA Score Mentor, I still have today. I got a different one because the one I had retired. I had a second star general retired in the Army. So how cool was that for me to sit down and talk business with him without having to salute or say sir on purpose, right? So it was a great relationship until he retired. But make sure you get yourself a Score Mentor to go along with all the things you're getting from GovCon Giants and PTAG, Apex, or getting yourself mentors. And of course, you want mentors in business, right? You want to be a mentee as well as being a mentor ultimately. I kind of sit in both places at this point in my life, and I'm enjoying that part of the journey. So one of the things that was different for me though, when I did get into this GovCon space, managing about 111 people, about 17.5 million was that amount that I was managing as a corporate PM for this company, was being a Marine and dealing with individuals that didn't understand respect, people that didn't understand being held responsible for their actions, being introduced to people that didn't practice restraint. They just said what they wanted to say out their mouth to me as their supervisor. And I had a little bit of a hard time with that. I was a Marine. I still am. So let me be real clear. I had a hard time with that. So my company's name, Civility Management Solutions, was born with the fact of thinking about some of those issues that I found totally unacceptable. I don't care how great you are. And most of us, you can be great at doing your job, but if don't nobody like you, we're gonna have some problems in the shop. And in the Marine Corps, we call it friendly fire. Y'all had some other name. We call that friendly fire because it happens sometimes, right? Because what we're not going to do is all of us are not about to die based off of one person acting a cold food, right? Let's just be honest about that. That's just the name of the game. But when I got introduced to federal government, that was one of the things that I found challenging in my leadership, in my efforts of being a team player. I didn't understand how people were pulling and tugging against that instead of actually realizing that I had their back. So civility was born. But interestingly, SHRM is talking about civility. They're running this whole campaign on civility. So I want you all to make sure you lean in on that, because one thing that's wonderful about that is that, we got leadership right now that's projecting a whole lot of hatred and a whole lot of other stuff. But let's be honest, would you hire any of those individuals to come work in your office with you? That is a question. Would you hire any of them? The answer is probably no, right? I know I wouldn't, right? Because you're not going to disrespect me all day and then expect to get paid. So that's just not going to happen. So let me move on to this thing about relationships and networking. Make sure you're operating with the principles that you were taught when you served. We were taught teamwork. We were taught how to come together, and that's without even liking each other. I mean, a lot of times we didn't like who we had on the left and the right. But the bottom line, if they went down, we were trained, leave no man behind and pick them up and get them up out of there. That's it. That's all. It doesn't matter about your race. It doesn't matter about any of your personality, whether you chewing on tobacco or not, right? End result is that I'm here for you. I got your back. And so with that mindset in business, I've been shocked, amazed, and surprised. And Eric and I have talked about these type of things, how money seemingly changes people. I'm believing that more than anything when it comes to veterans, because especially if you retire, you should be trained up on what it is to be a leader at this point. and how to be about people. But amazingly, something seems to shift sometime. So I'm, charging you all to make sure as you go and grow in this game that you stay true to some principles that you've lived by that have allowed you to still be here today. Some of you all may have served during the war seasons, I'm sure, because we've been in war for way too many years, but you're still here with us today for principles that you applied while you were serving in that uniform. Use them here in business so that you can survive the same way. Because there's some that may not be cooperative with your success. But you got to be able to gird yourself up. Remember your principles. I got this. What you're not going to do is tell me what I can't do. All of those principles that you used and practices that you use when you serve, they are so applicable in business. And I think sometimes I'm more of a Marine today than I was when I served, because I put on all these principles that gets me through times and moments so that I can keep going ahead. I'm 12 years in business. The first 4 years was definitely no money. 4.5. I used TaskRabbit, did all kind of assignments and picking up poop and handicap houses, and I did some things. But I wanted revenue to be going through my company. And until I land some real work with the government, I needed to be operating like I own a business with revenue coming in and expenses going out. That's all. And so you do what you got to do. And we're on the other side there, 12 years in, and we're doing extremely well. But when I talk about these relationships, the other value add is that if you stay genuine to yourself, you'll see the people that you're supposed to be working with and people that you're not going to be working with. And everybody's not going to like you, and be okay with that, right? It's another person around the corner in the bush that's waiting to meet you, that'll be a great teaming partner. And try to focus on not just having one and dones, but let's come together and be a team. I have been fortunate to have a young man that reached out to Civility Management Solutions for an opportunity, and we won the opportunity together between him and his intel in-house and us and our expertise, him being a new business, us being seasoned. We came together and we won a $24 million award at HHS. Y'all go ahead, y'all clap for that. Go on, clap, 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 clap for that. Because that took some years and some times and some diligence of not quitting for me to get to that side. Tenacity, resilience, all those things again that I learned when I served. But that is our largest award, and we've partnered with a service-disabled veteran-owned small business. Well, of course, my goal now is let's go after some more work. Let's not have a one and done, because somebody goes and do something outside of operating in integrity, outside of being fair, outside of thinking about the people. Got your mind on money instead of on people. When we serve, our mind is on the people. All of us are going home today, tonight, tomorrow, whatever the story may be. It's not about money. So trying to make sure that you keep yourself abreast of what's important as you're growing your business and as you're developing it, and use some of those same same skills that you obtain from being veterans. I think veterans and entrepreneurship is a match any day, all day, every day. I don't care what kind of business you're trying to start, if you start thinking about those principles. And don't forget to celebrate yourself along the way. This is something we also didn't do because it was always about our team. Make sure you celebrate you. Now, of course, you got to celebrate your team. I don't even know how to talk about some of the success of civility without talking about my team, because I didn't do it by myself, right? And that's what makes it so powerful. Govcon and veterans and entrepreneurship is such a match because they want you to team with other entities, be teaming partners and win awards. They want you to find good employees. They want you to find good employees in your corporate office that know what they're doing. So make sure of that. And that's a note, by the way. Get yourself an accountant and an attorney before anything. My SCORE mentor told me that, and I did. But the only thing I didn't do was having Govcon ready. So that would be the recommendation I'll give you. It wasn't the worst experience from it, but yet there were some extra challenges because now we've grown out of the firm fixed price, easy monthly billing that you do with the federal government. We're doing cost plus, we're doing ODCs. So having a good accounting system, meaning having somebody that knows GovCon, because there are some differences in that businesses in comparison to doing real estate or barbershops. So try to make sure that you are leaning in on subject matter expertise. But like me, bring in people that's brand new. I hired many people that were subject matter experts in their space, but they didn't know GovCon. But there's enough training. We already talked about that to get them prepared. And they are doing extremely well, have been with me almost for 8 years. I've actually had some money. So stay up, Stay strong. Go make it happen. Stay connected to GovCon Giants. Eric is the bomb for us. Him and his whole tribe that is connected to the things that he's doing to make sure that we are successful out here on these streets. And good luck to you. And don't ever quit. Peace.
Thank you, Laurie. Thank you. Thank you so much. We appreciate you opening up this virtual summit we got going on. So everybody say thank you to Laurie for coming in, opening up our first Veterans Virtual Summit. And now we're going to move on to selling products and services to the government. That's going to have Jackson Dalton, Cordell Rowe, as well as Ryan Atencio. So thank you so much, Laurie. We're going to move on to the next session. Thank you. All right, everyone. So now you can go back inside of the event lobby, and now you can go ahead and start clicking on join to selling products and services to the government with Jackson Dalton, Cordell Rowe, and Ryan Atencio. Okay. Thank you, everybody, for joining the opening session.